Maddie and Steve, they set the stage. From classic bouts to the modern age. Every slam, every story, every legacy comes alive with wrestling pedigree. So tune on in, the spotlight's bright. The ring is ready on this podcast night. It's Wrestling Pedigree.
Hey guys, and welcome to a special episode of Wrestling Pedigree. I'm your host, Matty, and with me today is someone I wanted to get on for a while. Very good friends with. His podcast is phenomenal. The host of The Magic of Wrestling, Liam Wakelin. Welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me. Can I just say that I was bopping to that song the whole way?
You know, no one didn't talk about the show. They just talk about the intro music.
It's a killer song. I'm not going to lie, mate. That is a banging song.
It gets into it, especially when there's a bit of British adding into it.
Of course, mate. Of course. But how you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm all good, thank you. It's just it's been a crazy weekend. But it's great to have you on the show. Always want to pick your mind on a couple of stuff, and let's get into it.
Of course, mate. I'm happy to answer whatever you got for me.
So, first question: what made you start the Magic of Wrestling? What made you begin this epic journey that you're going on at the moment?
Oh, Jesus. Epic. Thank you for saying epic journey, because I think it's a crazy journey. But yeah, I mean, I've always been a wrestling fan, mate, for as young as I can remember. And 4 or 5 years back, I joined, obviously, the wrestling community prediction shows. I mean, obviously, you know these pretty well, stuff like that. And I was talking to Gary Joe, who obviously I'm good friends with, massive go support him as well. And I just said to him, I says, what do you think about starting a podcast? He's like, go for it. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So I went away. I would say I planned it down to a T and stuff like that, the Magic of Wrestling, because it's obviously unique to me. And yeah, here we are, mate, 4 years later.
I mean, I listened. So your podcast is like, when I know there's a new episode coming out, I'm listening to it whether I'm in work or I'm in the car, but the wife's got to listen to it also. But what was your first introduction to wrestling? What was your first moment you think, wow, this is a really good
that would be 2000 Armageddon, Hell in a Cell. That was my first pay-per-view I remember watching. Do you know the 6-man Armageddon? That was my first pay-per-view and stuff. And I was just, I was just so hooked then. But it wasn't until you get older, and you probably can obviously vouch for this as well, as you start to learn obviously what goes into wrestling a lot more.
Yes, definitely. And by the way, that Armageddon 2000 is very underrated. The whole card is very underrated.
Yeah, it's actually, like I said, it's one of my favorites. It's the first pay-per-view I watched as a fan, so it's got a special place, mate, to me.
Oh yeah, and where did you start off with the Magic of Wrestling? Was it just on YouTube, or was it a network you were part of?
So originally, when I started, obviously it was YouTube. I then went obviously onto the AFW network, and obviously there was part of that for obviously 2 years, and then started the year again. I kind of went solo from obviously 2025, and yeah, rest is history, mate. To be honest with you.
I'll have to ask this. What made you leave AFW?
Okay, so I could answer this many ways. I'll probably tell you a bit more in detail after the show. But AFW's more about AEW heavy, and that's fine. Do you know what I mean? If they want to do that, that's totally fine. But for me, doing interviews like I have done with people up and down the UK, speaking to so many people, there's two sides to everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, WWE is not always perfect. AEW is not always perfect. TNA is not always perfect. And it just wasn't me. For me personally, I hate just one side of the narrative. it has to be like, look at all three sides. And don't get me wrong, do you know what I mean? It was a hard decision to leave the network and stuff like that. But I have to be honest, 2025 for me has been probably one of the best years ever. I mean, look at the interviews we've done this year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I look at some of the lists, so you got up and coming one with Chefs.
Yep, that's dropping on Tuesday whenever this goes out.
And so that will be, so this is dropping out tomorrow, so it'll be Monday, so this is dropping out the day after. I mean, I'm looking forward to the Chefs. I mean, the best interview I think I apart from Tate, because me and Tate got history. So Tate Mayfair's, I like that interview you did with him, but your interview with Nigel McGuinness, for me, one of my absolute favorites. What was it like interviewing a legend that is Nigel McGuinness?
So when the opportunity come up to speak to Nigel, obviously we've got a process to follow, which obviously I'm not going to spoil. Obviously one Breezy, who obviously I'm good friends with, do you know what I mean? So much respect for that guy. He said, look, an opportunity's come to speak to Nigel McGuinness. I'm like, what? Sorry? Are you serious? So obviously I've done 135 interviews, I think I've done now.
Wow.
That for me is one of the most nerve-wracking playing things I've ever been. Do you know, waiting for Nigel to show up, because it's, you know yourself, mate, it's a big star. Do you know what I mean? Massive in AEW, so much stuff obviously in other companies. But, and we are peeling the curtain back a little bit here. Before we obviously hit record, Nigel's personality really shone through, and that made it more comfortable for us. Do you know what I mean? That's how you get a decent show like
that. Is there any on your wish list, which you're allowed, if you want to say online, on your wish list that you want to interview?
So when I obviously start this, I've got a top 5. Do you know what I mean? I generally have, and I've said this on many podcasts. I don't mind saying on this one. So Spike Gervais, obviously UK talent. He's on my list. He's number 1. He always has been. Do you know what I mean? I love the character. I mean, I could speak highly about him, for hours. Will Ospreay's up there. Do you know what I mean? Lizzie Evo. Who's the other one? Zack Sabre Jr. And then there's one which I've already done, which is Greg Burridge, which is the guy who trained me.
Wow. I'm just shocked by Spike, because I'm a massive fan of Progress, and I know you watched that. His role that he had in the past couple of years in Progress, making the ultimate heel, has been absolutely crazy. If you had him on your show, I think, wow. But
absolutely.
If you have Will Ospreay, you'll need a parental advisory, because if you see him on RJ City's interview, the C word came up quite a lot.
Yeah, but that's the thing with me, though. When I obviously do the shows, that's the one question we do get asked a lot is, can we swear? And I just say, look, just be yourself. Do you know what I mean? If you want to have to blind it, do it. And when you watch some of the interviews we do, you can tell straight away that they are comfortable, and that's one thing we take seriously.
Yeah, I mean, you know me, I swear a lot, so it just comes out naturally. It's a South thing for me.
Absolutely, man.
What's your take on, obviously you mentioned AEW, WWE, and TNA. What's your view on the top 3 at the moment in today's wrestling this year?
I mean, if you'd have asked me this like a few years ago, I'd have said like WWE is the top draw. Do you know what I mean? AEW is obviously 2, and TNA is great. But I think I'm going to try to be balanced as I can. There's some obviously good parts with WWE. There's some bad parts with AEW. I feel like at the minute WWE has kind of lost the way with the PLE. I think the last PLE, not the NXT one, the one before it, was dreadful. Do you know what I mean? For me personally,
I think at the moment, I think all 3 of them are even. I think all 3 of them are even.
I agree. And obviously AEW is the same. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's some good parts, bad parts. TNA. I'm curious to see how TNA is going to cope now on the new network.
Yes, and I want to know how they're going to do it with their network over here, because we don't get on the TV anymore. We just get on the app. So it'll be really good.
The thing is, though, now streaming is obviously, the way forward. Let's be honest.
Yes, I mean, look what we're doing.
There you go.
But yeah, but it all depends on that Netflix, because obviously Netflix just bought out WBD. What will they do with AEW? It'll be interesting in the next
Exactly.
year. However, me and you love the indies.
Mm-hmm.
You cover a lot, especially up the north. And then obviously I love this. I do only cover the south and sometimes come up your way. When I get the train. Like the train allows me because obviously the weather. But what is your take on the British Indies at the moment? Because this past 2 years has been crazy.
There's definitely a boom period. Do you know what I mean? There's some incredible promotions. I mean, like I said, you mentioned the North Wrestling in Newcastle, North Wrestling, True Grit, which is obviously another one, Tidal, you got your main two, Red Pro Progress. I mean, there's some incredible shows, but one thing I like about the indie scene is you've got a core of wrestlers. Do you know what I mean? And we'll focus on the women's side as an example. We don't see them just in one promotion. We see them up and down. Do you know what I mean? So the fans get to see them across here.
Oh yes, you can see Lana Austin in North Wrestling, and then see her doing Bev Pro or even Brick King one time just down south. So they're everywhere at the moment, and I think the good example of this is Rio.
Yeah, 100%.
Her ICW run in Scotland, and what she's doing in Progress, and whatever she's doing in what is the one that Will Ospreay is doing? Yeah, that one. It's just phenomenal. So I love what the indie wrestling at the moment is doing, and if I'm gonna ask you this, there's top 5 AEW
Mm-hmm.
wrestlers that you, past or present, that you want to interview. We'll go with AEW at the moment.
Do I want to interview in AEW?
Yes. Obviously, you said Will, so we'll say take off all your top 5s. But there's someone that you just want to pick their brain and think, especially a spot or a match or anything like that.
I mean, the biggest mind in obviously AEW for me is got to be Jeff Jarrett.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's one man I'd love to pick the brain of. Outside that, and I'm just going to throw some random names, is Jamie Hayter. And the reason for that is that's the first person I ever met in person.
Wow. Yeah,
So obviously I went into Jamie Hayter. Lance Archer, that's another one. Jerry Lynn. I'm thinking people, behind the scenes a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And probably Chris Hero. I think that'd be an interesting one. But yeah, Jeff Jarrett, but I would love to pick his brain.
I mean, to pick Jeff Jarrett's brain, you could have like a 2-hour show, couldn't you?
Exactly. I mean, the guy's got, for me, he's the most knowledgeable person in AEW.
And I think the one hell of a genius to last this long and to open a company, a TNA, back when it's just WWE, and just how he survived throughout the tough business. To pick his brain would be amazing.
Exactly. And if I remember rightly, it was only in the short budget as well. It wasn't like a massive amount of money they put in.
No, I think I think it was like a quarter of what WWE were doing. Even less. This is going to be fun. Would you interview someone that, obviously, I don't know what the situation is online, but would you interview someone that's so controversial that you think, oh, that might get me some heat? I don't want to get any heat on MOW. Do you think that would you do that?
The short answer to that is no. And the reason for that is I've got a core of people. When I do interviews, especially on the indie side, I've got a core of people, or if I'm struggling with people, I'll say, I'm going to be interviewing this person. What do you think? Do you know what I mean? And they'll give me their advice and stuff like that. So for me personally, the short answer is no, because I respect my fan base. You know what I mean? I respect the people, obviously, who I've interviewed, who I obviously trust with as opinions on. So for me personally, no.
I totally agree with you. I'll be the same. I just feel like where do you want Magic of Wrestling to go? Because also you just say you just did 135, we'll do 136. Where do you see yourself in the next year or so, like in 2026, 2027? What you
I
will be
mean,
doing?
obviously I want to get monetized. Do you know what I mean? That's obviously the goal for me. But my whole thought process, obviously, when I do interviews, is, and I'll give you an example. I want a wrestler, regardless of if they're a big talent or small talent, to look at my channel and go, "Oh, this is great." The fact that he's interviewing the big names, but he's also making time for people like us who's up and coming. Do you know what I mean? Because for me personally, it doesn't matter to me whether they've got 1 year experience, 2 years, 3 years. They've all got stories to tell.
Oh, absolutely. Do you? What is your advice of? Because obviously, I started wrestling pedigree in August. I always wanted to do this, and then I seen your podcast, and I thought, yeah, I got a loud mouth, and I feel I need to use it. So, what is your advice of someone starting up and want to do not exactly like what you're doing, but similar?
Similar. Do you know what I mean? Do it. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But I will be honest with you. The more you get into it, the more planning, obviously, do you know, happens. Do you know what I mean? I started out me thinking, oh, this is easy. Do you know what I mean? Less planning. I'm doing more planning now when I'm doing shows than I've ever done. Do you know what I mean? In the terms of obviously the interview side, I mean, obviously, I'll give you advice on that as well. Is you will send, let's say you send 500 messages out, just as an example. And yeah, you are likely to get 10 back, if that. That's the nature of the beast, unfortunately. And that's something you will find out pretty quickly. And it can be disheartening because you think, shit, have I done something wrong? Have I said something wrong? Do you know what I mean? Because for me, it's all about respect. And yeah, you will send as many messages as you can, but you will probably get less back, let's be honest.
And it's basically word of mouth, in it. It's like if these like Nigel McGuinness could go to like someone in AEW, oh yeah, I had an interview with him, he was brilliant, and that word of mouth will just happen.
Yeah, I've also had that. I've also done that with the North. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously I travelled to wrestling in Newcastle. Because I've interviewed that person. That person's obviously put a good word in for me, and that's why I've managed to interview so many great people. But then I've also had it where I've interviewed somebody for Freya Rose, and then the person's reached out to me saying, "Hey, can I jump on?" and so on and so on. You know, so it kind of obviously expand what you just said there.
I want to take a little swerve here. What next week, Wrestling Pedigree, we're doing a special John Cena show where we're talking about John Cena's career and his match he'll have with Gunther on Saturday. What is your opinion on the career of John Cena?
Legend. Do you know what I mean? Absolute legend. I mean, the man defined the whole era. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, ruthless aggression era. Do you know what I mean? If it wasn't for that, we won't have that obviously boom period. He's done so much obviously for charity. So for me, I mean, one word described it. It's just legend. That's probably the best way.
What is your take on his retirement tour this past year?
The heel thing sucked. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Absolutely, it did. We knew it was coming, and we were curious to see how it all plan out. But the thing is, John Cena's so it says a lot, right? Yeah, when you're walking into an arena and the heel's getting like cheered. Do you know what I mean? It's not John Cena's fault. It's just so likable.
Oh, absolutely. And the heel turn got paid off at Survivor Series thanks to Liv. What is your take on social media with wrestling now? Obviously, I follow you on your Instagram, which is a really, really good page. But what's your take when you see like the sickos, like tribalism? What's your take on that?
It pisses me off, do you know what I mean? But I also think that, especially when the women's side, and this is what riles me up, is you see like nasty comments towards the women and stuff like that, and it riles me up so much. It's like anything in the world, you know what I mean? It's got good points, it's got bad points. For me now, I feel like it's leaning more towards bad than good. Do you know what I mean? I see comments daily like people getting abused, and it is more the women, and that riles me up so much because it's just like, for some reason, when a male wrestler does something wrong, they don't get scrutinized, but yet when a female does it, they're like under the microscope.
Oh, absolutely. Do you think it affects podcasters like yourself and myself that obviously the tribalism and there's always some stupid like freaking fans that ruin it for everybody? Do you think that affects the wrestlers when you ask him, "Hey, can you come on my show for an interview?" Do you think that affects their mentality?
I think it does. I mean, because it's like you said. I mean, there is so many nasty people out there, especially, do you know what I mean, on social media and stuff like that. I'm very fortunate that obviously the people I talk to knows other people, so I'm kind of obviously fortunate in that thingy. Obviously, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've sent messages out to wrestlers I've never like interviewed before, and obviously they see the messages, and it does make me think like, what are you thinking? Do you know what I mean? Am I such a nasty person and stuff? But the thing is, for me, when I do an interview, I mean, I said this at the start of every single show without fail. I said to them, if there's anything that I ask and you're not comfortable talking about it, it doesn't matter what, just say next question, we move on. And fortunately, a lot of wrestlers are quite open. You do get the occasional one where it's like, oh, I don't want to talk about X, Y, and Z. But yeah, I mean, I care more about, making them feel comfortable.
Is there any American indies wrestlers? I know you're interviewing shows coming out on Tuesday. Is there any American indies that you would love to interview? For me, at the moment, Ben Bishop, I would love to interview him.
Mm-hmm.
But is there anyone on your American indie list? Because obviously GCW, JCW, stuff like that you want to interview? Do you think, oh, that'd be fun to interview?
The only one which stands out for me is that Charles Mason from House of Glory.
Yes, absolutely. Oh wow, that will be a good show.
I just love his character.
Oh, his character is his gimmick is just amazing. Him and GCW is just brilliant, and he literally frightens me when I watch him.
Have you seen a common theme here? I like two creepy characters.
Yeah, but that's probably because we grew up watching Undertaker.
There you go.
So you started in 2000 at end of December, so you were around the time when DDP was a pervert.
That's
like a
right.
Stalker. So yeah, we kind of got a creepy vibe going on here.
Yeah.
Is there a wrestler in the past that you would love to interview? Like obviously you can, but if there's any in the past that you would love, I wish back then I was able to.
I'd love to sit down with Eddie Guerrero. Do you know what I mean?
Eddie word in my head and all.
I just love to pick his brain because the fact that he come up with a lie, cheat, and steal thing, and that was so over with the fans, just incredible. Do you know what I mean? That's probably. I feel like I could talk to Eddie for hours. I'm just about absolutely everything.
Yeah, just a lie, cheat, and stealing. I think I probably could go a whole hour talking to him about Halloween Havoc 97 match. Just each spot was like, oh, that's so amazing. We did this past week on Wrestling Pedigree. We did fancy booking, and we did the year 2000 wrestlers, any promotion versus today's wrestlers, any promotion. I know this is right off the bat, so I want you got plenty of time, obviously, to think about a War Games match, men or female. You have 5 2000s versus 5 of today's. Who would
Can it be any promotion from today's?
Any promotion today's and any promotion from the 2000s. So 2000 to 2009.
Okay, here we go. Jesus Christ, this is going to be tough. 2000s Chris Jericho has got to be on there for me. I love that one. Dudley Boys 2000s again. I'm not even thinking about this one, by the way.
So you got 3 on that one.
Jesus, that's tough. And Brothers of Destruction. Do you know what I mean? You cannot, right? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that's so good. You mean 2001 Brothers of Destruction?
Yeah.
Like with a whole lot there. That's definitely a good. So you got the Dudleys in 2000, Chris Jericho 2000, and the Brothers of Destruction in 2001.
Tell me that just wasn't being an awesome one.
That would be proper destructive and proper nostalgia. So who are the 5 they got placed in from today?
Jesus, that's tough. I didn't think about that bit. Bron Breaker's got to be on there. Absolutely is.
Yeah.
Solid.
Doing the network.
Yeah. Just trying to think because there's quite a few. Do you know some incredible people? I'm gonna have to say Lance Archer. Do you know what I mean? I really do like Lance.
I like Lance. I think he's under not used that well in AEW, and he's underrated in my opinion.
Yeah, Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns.
One more.
And I'm gonna say LA Knight because I really think he's underrated.
Oh yeah, and like same with Lance. He's used a bit less as you should be. Who would you put over? Who's going over? Who's the team winning?
I think Bron Breakker will be the last one standing.
Oh, so today's wins against Nostalgia.
Yeah, because the thing is, I mean, yeah, nostalgia is obviously a thingy, but I feel like we're in a day now where the more experienced will put, obviously, the younger talent.
Oh yeah, and exactly what John Cena will do next week. I really found this show really fun. I wanted to interview you for a long time.
Absolutely, man. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, mate. I mean, I could talk hours about absolutely anything. I mean,
exactly.
35 interviews, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. I'm a bit worried when I be able to interview, and then I'll be like 2 hours in. I'll be like, oh yeah, how are you? And I've just literally took their career. Where can people find you, Liam?
So you can find me at The Magical Wrestling on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. If you want to get in contact with us for the show, it's obviously Instagram's probably the best. YouTube, obviously, all socials are on there. And yeah, there's so much content obviously coming out. 2026, I've got 4 shows which I've lined up, which we're going to be at. We're going to get this first death match in February. We're going to be at Wrestling in Newcastle on January. And there's something else, and I can't remember off the top of my head.
It'll come back to you. I do think I'm in the north in April and May. I think there's a North Wrestling event somewhere around that time. I think I'm going up to watch. So, and I think I'm in Liverpool and Manchester for TNT. So
Yep.
Definitely hit you up. And then
I think Wrestling in Newcastle's in Middlesbrough in April. I'm just double check. Yes, 4th of April. They're in Middlesbrough.
Yeah, it was around Tyneside, Teesside. Thank you so much, Leo, for coming on.
Absolute pleasure, man.
Pleasure. Much pleasure. And I remember now that when I was doing that crazy 15-hour charity stream, I plugged the Magic of Wrestling because that Nigel McGuinness interview still was there, and I just loved it. And I think I put a link on it on the charity. So highly recommended, but all the interviews are highly recommended.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, man, I mean, it's been a crazy. I mean, Nigel McGuinness, Brian Cage, that's another one we've obviously interviewed. Do you know what I mean? We've just done Ortiz, PCO. Jesus, I'd have to look back. Do you know what I mean? It's 130 odd interviews, and I do want to thank obviously One Breezy. Do you know what I mean? I can't thank him enough. Do you know what I mean? Because it's thanks to him that I've been able to get the opportunities, stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely. It's always good when you know people. If there is a chance, I would love for you to come back on in the new year for our new. I think we're doing a award like Best of 2005 awards.
Mm-hmm.
So the best match, best wrestler, stuff like that. I think we're doing a massive show, but you're highly invited to join us for that.
Absolutely, man. If you ever want me on, mate, just obviously reach out to us. If I'm obviously free, mate, I'll obviously jump on.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for everyone for joining us for this special episode of Wrestling Pedigree. We'll be back tomorrow, which will be Monday, for Ross Report. Like I said in the show, next Friday is the John Cena special. We have a special interview me and Steve are going to do with Sonny King on the next Sunday. So look, a lot of content, a lot of fun, and a lot of Bristolian from me. So enjoy the rest of your week, enjoy wrestling, and thank you for joining us.
Cheers for watching, guys.